Saturday morning on Osrc television. The program is Perspective. And on Perspective, what do? We talk, we discuss, we build our searchlights on issues, trending issues affecting the society, so many things on board that we have to talk about. My name is Ronnie Allen. I know that I don't do this alone. I do it with my delectable, beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, great ladies in the house. Should I start from her? I say, sir,
perspective. And you know what we do? We talk about trending stories, we also review newspaper. But there's something I actually want to talk about. I think it's something that we need to keep talking about on the show. It's raining already, and the practice of dumping your waste inside the drainage. Something we see. I think we need this, yes, because I saw something like that recently again, and I'm like, what is this? Do you even know the effect of these things that you're doing? You know the consequences. These are the things that lead to flood. See, now we're talking about flood in Niger State, and flooding in Niger State, and you can see how it's affecting lots of people. Sometimes it's our practices that even bring this thing to our doorstep, and we need to change. And also building your house in swampy area, waterways. Now you're going to also disturb the flow of this water, channeling towards those moats and all. So there are lots of practices that we need to abstain from. It's not every time we call the government, and we are not doing something on our own. So we need to.
Well, for me, I think this practice.
Okay, I guess. Well, I know you really want to say something about it, especially when this kind of issue is an issue that borders on life and properties. I know how humans react, so I kind of get it. So good morning, Sharon.
Good morning.
To have you on the program again.
Thank you very much.
All right, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yes, about the flood. I think this practice has come to stay. Because it has been there for ages.
Yes, it has been there for ages. But
they're just trying to adjust to things easily. And once they adjust to this, they don't want to make changes. They want to, relearn and all this stuff. I don't know. I think we need to format the system or something.
I agree with you, really.
Change actually begins
with you as a person. That's exactly what I want to say. With you, if you make up your mind to want to do the right thing every time, of course, all of those things. So we need to keep sensitizing people. Yeah. If we're saying it has come to stay, it's an age-long thing, something that has been happening and that it has to continue. No, it doesn't make it right. That's because it has been there. It doesn't make it doesn't mean it has to be like that. You know, we need to find a way. We need to keep talking about it. And what is what we do every time? I think like media play today. We'll keep talking about it. I'm sure one way or the other, people will hear. And then for you, your own bit is to do the right thing. You believe in doing the right thing. Don't just make sure that you're also telling someone close to you. Don't turn deaf ear to this and blind eyes to it when you see someone do it. Just go to that person and say, no, what you're doing is wrong. Don't worry about the fact that such people that usually, their response can be very annoying. Yeah, very, it will be as if aggressive and all that. You should eat the person, but the truth is, whatever that person has to say, don't let it bother you. The message you give to that person, whether the person is trying to be defensive and like, hey, it doesn't matter, that person will sit when he or she gets back home or enter into our own clothes and are like, your guy will say, well, the brother lady has someone talk to me today. So let's be change ourselves.
But we used to have this sanitation department that goes around every Saturday or even in the evening arresting people that dumps refuse at the roadside quota or
Yes, it's still there, but not like before.
Yes, it's not like
Not like before. Then we used to have them as sanitation officers.
Yes.
Yoruba will call them wole, who will go even go to your home. Yes, but we don't have that again. So on the government part, they also need to devise a means. You know, if it's to bring back that period, that sanitation period, fine, we want it. Those kind of people, we want them to do more.
Yes.
And also, government also needs to look at the way people can dispose waste. You know, if you go to Lagos, there are this big drums. Where people can just go in front of their house and dump what they are refuse there. The sanitation officer or the environmental officer will come with their vehicle and pick some of those things. I think in places like Alagba and all that, we have all of those. But it should go around. If people need to pay for it, then they should pay for it. It's highly important that we need to get this thing out of our system. I was on the news some times ago, and there was a report. You need to see how flooded. This is Akure. You talked about Niger.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Akure. And I watched that clip, and I saw how about 5 or 6 people were trying to pull a man who was about drowning.
Yes.
You know, that report at that time actually claimed lives. So please, we need to do it right. It's highly important for us to begin to value human life, for us to begin to know that properties that are bought with money should not just go like that. You know, and
this can actually take houses
to square one.
Yes, it takes someone back to square one. It takes houses, you know, where there is no water, where there is no flow of water, it can look for any means possible to go through, and it can even take houses.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll go straight to newspaper headlines. Please do stay with us. It's Perspectives. Good morning.
This is Perspective on Osrc Television. It's nice to be here again on another edition of the program. My name is Ronnie Allen, and together with my crew, my babes, my friends on the program, beautiful, delectable, shiny babies. I'm always glad to have you, Joby, especially because of the fact that you light up my word. I'm a dark person, and I'm usually so happy to sit with the bulls or set.
You have lies. Even though I'll probably be falling.
Honestly, of course.
You know, I said something one day. I said, if I be man, I go like fighting.
Yes, it's Isis Amunilari, and you're welcome to Perspective. You know, we have lots of trending stories, but before we go into our trending stories and other things we have for you, I'd like to talk about indiscriminate dumping of waste. You know, it's raining now, and a lot of people have seen it as an avenue to start dumping their refuse in the drainage system, and it causes flooding. Not even it can, it's going to cause flooding. We can see Niger State now, and they are dealing with flooding. These are some practices that we need to stop. If we in Ondo State, we don't want to be, you know, it's one thing to say, oh, I have my beautiful Sharon
Gabriel.
Yes, Sharon.
Yes, welcome to the
It's nice
show.
to have you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Like you rightly said,
Yes.
about the flooding, I think the government or we as a person needs to do something about it. Yes, change begins with us, because it's getting out of hands. People's lives are, you know, taken from this flooding, houses, properties, and all that. So I don't know if there is a way we as a person, as an individual, can, you know, stop throwing dirt into this
we can't stop it if we
flooding
decide
or river area.
You feel sometimes that we Nigerians, we are rigid. We are not rigid. You need to see Nigerians in diaspora. They will
Exactly, they adjust easily.
You won't see them now that it's raining and they'll take their dirt and put it in their
I am sure they won't do that. They won't do that.
So it's, I think that brings it back to, we need to maybe indulge the officers that will go and check people that
You know, we used to have this
arrest them.
Yes.
Because until maybe when we know that
let us to pay a fine.
yes, when there are penalties for this, we Nigerians tend to adhere to things like this. We get easily scared that, oh no, let's not be caught. But when you know they can do things at their own free will without no penalties and all of that, they tend to just like act and misbehave.
Yes.
I think when there are penalties for it and they see that people are actually being caught and carried and pay, and they do pay fine, they would adjust.
Apart from
That's
that,
make it arresting people to serve as
yes.
You know, you mentioned something while you were talking that we used to have officers before. In the past, I know they are sanitation officers. The Yorubas will call them wole wole. Who will go even to your house
to house. They will call you out and clean your environment, the streets.
you will go in for it. I think the government need to look into that area to bring such back.
Even then, they do have neighbors. If your compound is dirty, neighbors do call these people like,
yes,
this compound is
it's dirty,
and they do come.
That's when we were watching out for each other.
But now, everybody's minding their business.
And then these are environmental factors that come back to haunt us.
Exactly.
Because now we have Lassa fever. It's spreading so much.
So
if
fast.
your neighbors are even breeding, like they gather dirt that even breeds this it's going to visit you. You're sharing maybe a fence with this person. When they go to this person's house, they'll come to your house too. So you might feel, oh, there's no need for me to talk. It's not in my compound. It's my neighbor's house. It's going to affect you.
It's really going to affect you one way or the other.
Apart from that, it doesn't just affect us humans. It affects the living things under the water too.
Okay.
Why are fishes? Why are we not having fishes like we used to have before now? You go to buy a little fish and they will tell you 10,000 for just a small fish. But then it wasn't like that because we used to have so many fishes there. But this dirt kills this living things under the water, and it causes air pollution too.
Yes,
It causes air pollution. You can't even have good air.
To breathe. You're quite right. But I think as individuals, we need to keep talking. We need to keep saying things. And thank God media advocacy is there as well. So we'll keep saying it, and I believe that one way or the other, people will get to listen as time goes on. At the same time, when you see someone do something that wrong, say something. Go to the person and talk to the person. It doesn't matter. Don't be afraid because I know such people will react in a very negative way. Will be very aggressive. So, but don't worry. Pass your message. Once that message is passed, that is it. And also, government need to do a lot. A whole lot. They need to do a lot because in the big cities, very big cities, Lagos, and even in Akure here, places like Alagbaka, Ijapo, and all that, you see this big drum.
Where you can dump refuse.
Once in front of your house, you put your refuse. I think it has to go round, and at a certain point, the environmental people will bring the waste vehicle
to pick them up.
Truck to come and pick it up. It needs to go around into the inters because sometimes these people don't even know where to drop this waste.
Some areas they don't even know where to, because I think those vehicles may not be able to go deep down into some areas. But I feel if at a certain place there is a like you said, a big tank where you can dump your refuse, no matter how far you live inside, you can go there and dump it.
Instead of even putting the dirt in your car for those who have cars, and then you drive to a place and then just dump it on the road. You know that there's a place close, not too far away that they can gather those
every community.
Exactly. And the truth is, we are paying tax. Please, let's have value for what we are paying for. Government should do their bit. Then, when you now see, like you said, people should start getting arrested. So, but we're doing the wrong things. Now, they will still ignore. But look at the fact that that place I'm walking to, it will take it away.
To where?
All right, that's it this morning. We'll keep talking about it. We cannot stop talking about this because it is affecting lives. It is killing people. It is destroying properties that people suffer, labored to have. And so we'll keep talking about it. It's rainy season. The rain is becoming more. It's coming more and more and more.
Yes.
And so we know that all of those things.
And of course, we shouldn't forget to cover up. It's cold season too.
Yes, so that's for the children, for the aged. It's very important that we dress rightly at this point. Okay, let's go straight to our newspaper headlines this morning. I will be starting with the Daily Times this morning with this headlines. Alleged defamation. Senator Natasha Akpoti ducked the last of it.
You know, we said it last week. The fact, I'll keep on saying this. Instead of, should I say, prolonging this whole thing, why don't they trash the root cause of this issue? It all started from sexual harassment without evidence, and now this is it. I'm going to keep on saying without evidence.
You're still without
I
think we don't give evidence. When we say it, we'll be able to know where to stand. You can't just come out and tell us, okay, red is blue and blue is red.
And tell us why red is blue.
Exactly.
Just like saying,
and you want us to buy it.
It's just like saying the color orange is gotten from the fruit orange.
Without evidence.
You know the danger in all of this.
Yes.
Truly, she made all of these allegations up until now. No single evidence. But the truth, the danger in this is that if she's already, as time goes on, people will find it difficult believing women who are actually being molested or abused sexually. The story will always go back to that was how Natasha.
We know evidence and all that.
I think that's why people are even having they don't trust her, because I think she has had issues like this before with
several
mockery and others, and still yet there was no evidence, and it came out that it wasn't even true. And now she's doing the same thing. I feel our reputation is even at stake right now.
Yes, seriously, our reputation is already tainted, you know.
Yes.
And for a woman as beautiful as she is, she's an attractive woman.
She is.
And then a woman who is in such position, you know, I've always rooted for her. Like, a woman can speak out.
Exactly.
A woman will not hide her feelings. A woman who cares about others. She's bold, she's beautiful, she's gallant, you know, but now coming to be telling us all of those things that we can't even substantiate. Okay, now it's becoming an issue. Up until now, even as the case is in court, no single evidence to back up a claim. Alright, let's move ahead. Terrorism charges can opens defense July 18. Terrorism charges can opens defense July 18. Yesterday, the federal government closed their own case. You know, they had to call witnesses, and yesterday the federal government was done with calling their witnesses, and so from July 18, Nnamdi Kanu will start bringing up his own witnesses. This is another issue that we've not seen the last of. We don't know where this thing will end. Well,
because you don't drag.
You don't drag.
You don't drag.
Okay, so still taking stories from the Daily Times. That's headlines from the Daily Times. Federal government settles 1.2 trillion naira pension backlog, launches boosts for 223,000 retirees. Wow, that's quite interesting. That's good to know. At least retired men and women will not die in penury.
They'll be smiling right now.
Yes, because we discovered that once they become elder statesmen, they're out of service, a whole lot of them depend solely on their pension. And then when that money is not forthcoming, you see them suffering and all that. And then sometimes some people want to ask, don't they have children? Okay, a child that you trained the child graduated and there is no job. How is this child supposed to cater for you? So you find out that most of them, you know, they suffer a lot, you know, but
you know, whether or not they have children, that doesn't stop them from getting
it is what they are duly due.
Yes, so I think that shouldn't even be a question. Like, don't they have kids?
No, some.
Yes, you know? But then I feel like this is what should if they
work for it.
Yeah, so they need to decide whether they have children or not.
Yes.
Alright, Cardinal visit. President Tinubu honors Dan Giwa with national CFR title. Okay, and the Senate leader explains increase in Rivers 2025 budget proposal. Sudan rallies West Africa against neocolonialism at ECOWAS meeting. And also, police nab 54 suspects in major crackdown in Akwa Ibom. Alright, page 2 of that, page 7 of the Daily Times has the story. Sir, let's have the next.
Okay, moving to Daily Trust, we have this. Tinubu to choose running mates after convention. You want to say something?
He has a running mate already.
But then they said he wants to choose, so maybe there is fire on the mountain, who knows?
No.
Yeah.
Rumors that he might be dropping Shetima, you know, to pick someone else. There's even, they even say maybe this time around he wants to go for a Christian VP. You know what we're having now is the Muslim
yes.
So they're thinking that, okay, probably he wants to pick a Christian this time around, but enough are not having it. Some of them are already, you know, crying foul already that no Shetima. In fact, there was a protest recently held in that regard. So let's see, 2027.
It's going to be back to back. I don't want to say hot, but it's going to be hot. Let's look forward to it. Okay, this is Benue. Residents aboard killers gave them food, coming from the defense chief, and that's on page 6 of the Daily Trust.
Ground rent. FCTA silent as 14-day grace period expires. Okay. Uba Sani turned Kaduna from toxic zone to orb of progress. That's coming from the president. I think that's all we have from Daily Trust.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Sharon?
here is the Guardian's newspaper. Experts reveals 50 million Nigerians with sickle cell warn against stigma. Wow. 50 million Nigerians with sickle cell. I think we need to give these people a thumbs up. They are strong. They are, despite the sickle cell disease and every other thing, they are strong. They withstand the health challenges and all that, because I learned it can be very painful when they have this crisis.
Very, very.
And I feel for them.
I don't even know, but a lot of sensitization has been done about how this is preventable.
Yes.
So sometimes I don't know if I should say, is it that love is blinding us not to do the right thing?
You see this language, love is blind. Forget it though. Love is not blind. Are we they blind though? That's the truth. Love is not. Love open. It's eye open. It's here eye.
So why do we keep doing that?
But we just decide to go blind to it. As humans, we say we are in love and all that. Like it's very preventable.
It is.
You need to see these people in crisis. When you see them in crisis,
you feel for them.
The pains they go through. I watched a movie some times ago about this sickle cell anemia stuff, and then the way one of the actors, the way he spoke so about it, that he blamed his parents.
Of course.
For bringing him into the world.
Yes,
it's not something you just get it. It's something you can actually. What's your genotype?
Yes.
I'm AA. I'm AS. If you're not compatible, move on to the next. There is a saying that so many fishes in the river. So you have another choice or the other options to choose from.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily need to subject yourself, because you're not having peace yourself.
Yes,
Taking your children to the hospital and all that. You're not having peace. You're not enjoying your marriage. So why should
you not enjoy yourself?
Why?
We need to let people know at this point that the young ones who are yet to get married, you're yet to tie that nuptial knot, you're not, and then to sign the dotted line. See, AS and AS, stay away from each other.
Yeah.
We have another one,
AS plus AAS and SS. Please stay away from each other.
I think one thing is, I think a lot of people, before you go into a relationship or even into marriage, ask.
That should be a lot of question.
They don't know.
If anybody is saying I'm AA, have you checked? How did you know
Confirm.
that you understand? You don't even know. You just say you're AA.
Before you begin to take your relationship to the next level. In fact, at the point of meeting, the moment you decide, I want this person, those are the first questions. And then if the person doesn't know, or the person lied to you, you're not sure, I think it's best both of you, whether you feel this will end in marriage or not. Because there are some that they didn't actually plan to end the marriage. Maybe in the process of, you're already doing what you're not supposed to do. A pregnancy came up, and at the end of the day, you're forced to be with each other. And in that process, you're already pregnant. You're already bringing a child to the world, not knowing if both of you are compatible. I think at this time, people, boy and a girl who wants to go into a relationship,
they should know.
They should know. A very important first date question should be what's the best food. The first question to ask is what is your
genotype? What's your genotype?
What's your genotype? And you should be proud of it. If it's AAAS, SS, you should be proud of it. You should own it. It's yours.
Yes.
It's yours. Nobody should drag it with you. That comes to stay.
Let's move ahead.
Violence, attacks, peacetime killing questions value of Nigerian life.
Please, value lives is very important.
Value life.
Yes.
We really need to. Again, Tinubu inaugurates specialists hospital named after him in Kaduna.
Wow, nice one.
Nice one.
Specialist hospital named after
him in Kaduna. Yes.
All right.
Tension in Benue as herdsmen graze farmland youths intercepts bus. This Benue State
This
incident, I don't know what we are going to say about
Nigeria.
it.
God will intervene.
Honestly,
the government needs to do more in that regard. Yes.
The government really needs to do more. Experts review 50 million. Okay, we've already talked about that. So that's it for.
Okay, let me move to Nigeria Tribune. These are the headlines. Tinubu admits missing some names on Democracy Day. Confers CFR on Dangiwa Umar. Okay, Dangote blames shortage of domestic crude oil for reliance on imports from U.S. Insecurity. Southern Middle Belt leaders lambast federal government, National Assembly, and there is a rider to it. Condemn forest guard scheme. Say emergency rule in Rivers illegal, unconstitutional. Go to page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune for that story. Okay, another one, I saw, sir.
Okay, yes. Moving on, we'll go to the Nation newspaper. We have Kaduna rising again after overcoming insecurity.
Okay.
We have Natasha's trial for defamation against Akpabio Bello begins September 23rd. Over 250 Nigerians are refugees in Libya, Cameroon, and others. Okay, DHQ steps up actions against killers in Benue. That's still on security. Green bond oversubscribed by 91.4 billion naira. Okay, that's all we have on the Nation newspaper.
Okay, Vanguard.
Okay.
Benue massacre. Troops got wrong intel on attackers' movement. Still on Benue. We need to pray for Benue.
Yes, we need to pray for Nigeria.
Let us prayers. Israel-Iran conflict. Trump to make war decision in 2 weeks. We are talking about this Benue massacre.
And we're talking about, I think when we're talking about value for life.
Exactly.
And you see 2 countries, they're
trying to make a decision whether to go to war or not.
And you're asking, what's really the value for life? Why are you even going to war in the first place? Why don't we embrace and encourage peace?
Peace. That should be our word mark for everybody. Peace. Love for humanity.
Yes.
Where is it? We used to care about one another, but all of a sudden we don't even value each other anymore. I remember then we used to go to neighbors' houses, we eat, we drink. In fact, they'll keep these pots, old pots outside where you're going to the farm. You can fetch water to drink when you're thirsty and all that. Oh, but what happened?
Now you cannot try it. You cannot try it.
I don't know. It's becoming something else.
Okay, another one.
That's it for
Vanguard. All right, let's see if we can take one more. And this time around, we'll be going to the Nation newspaper. Okay, you took Vanguard.
Let's go to New Telegraph.
New Telegraph. Okay,
yes.
Okay. Still trying to lay my hands on that.
On the New Telegraph, we have food inflation. Governors back federal government to dismantle illegal checkpoints. Okay. Coming from Rivers State, public officials concealing critical financial record, and that's coming from IBAS. Alleged terrorism, federal government closes case against Nnamdi Kanu. I have no case to answer, says IPOB leaders. Okay. Israel threatens Iran top leaders after missiles damage hospital, injures more than 200. That's on page 4. I'm still talking about this war. They need to calm down.
Everybody needs to calm down.
Global scare at 16 billion naira Apple, Google, other password exposed. Wow. Okay.
Alright, we still taking one or two. Let's see if we can take one more before we go to the next part of the show, and that is this is from to the New Telegraph, the Daily Independent. Rising insecurity, Tinubu NAS have failed Nigerians. This is coming from SMBLF, and here riders warns against reintroduction of RUGA, National Forest Guards. Also says so administrator must conduct local government polls in Rivers. Another one, tariff hike. MTN Airtel may generate over 3 trillion naira from data in 2025. And here's a rider. Subscribers grown over cost, poor service. That one is issue. If we talk about the way data, how much one is spending on data.
Someone is sipping it with straw.
Exactly. I don't understand. Some people will be smiling with 3 trillion naira. Okay, FCCPS seals visa centers in Abuja for obstruction of investigation. And this is Rivers 1.86 trillion naira budget to prepare for return to civil rule. That's coming from EBAS. Okay, here is a writer says officials concealed critical financial records from security. Alright, that's from that. Okay, wicked defense tax drive says Abuja gets just 1% of federal government allocation. Page 29 of the newspaper is having that story. And also we have Benue killings, I beg your pardon. Obi picks hole in Tinubu's visit, says it lacked empathy. Page 7 has that story for you to read it. Surge in vandalism may throw Nigeria into darkness, TCN warns. Page 6 has that story. Oyetola flags of Nigeria's Imo Council election campaign in London. You can also go to page 6 of Daily Independent for that story, the full story. 6,260 terrorists killed, 5,365 civilians rescued in 2 years. Then we have the last one. WHO unveils guidelines for managing sickle cell disease during pregnancy. We also have page 6 of that story. Alright, with that we've come to the end of newspaper headlines, that segment. We'll be going to our interview segment shortly. Please stay with us. perspectives on OSRC television, and we are going straight to the interview part of the show, where we have our guest in the house who will be talking to us about something that is actually that has become a worry to many Nigerians, especially residents of Ondo State. That's a rise in Lassa fever and the fatality ratio in Ondo State. This morning we want to take a look at that, because the news now is that Ondo State has the highest, number of fatality, number of cases, and even those who have died from Lassa fever. Let me bring my guest. He is Dr. Ayokunle Orimolade, is the state epidemiologist and incident manager for Ondo State. It's nice having you join us on Perspectives.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you. Yeah. Thank you for coming.
All right, from my introduction, it's scary and worrisome that Ondo State is having the highest number of... What is actually going on? Why is this so?
Oh, okay. Well, and that's why we are here. We don't want to create a situation where people panic and are afraid and worried. Lassa fever is treatable. It's treatable. It's not a death sentence, and it's also 100% preventable. That's why we go around, especially to our media partners like you, to help us sensitize the populace. It's preventable. It's caused by a virus. As we all know, the Lassa fever virus. The vector is the rat. We call it the multi-mammate rat that has a lot of breasts. I don't want to go into technicalities, call it Mastomys natalensis, or just let's call it the multi-breasted rat, which is a little bit common in Akure, particularly in Ondo State, Akure South. This belt favors it. So initially our neighboring state, Edo State, still has a lot of disease burden. But gradually it crept into Ondo State. And like SA on Earth was still saying a few days ago, we're honest in the state. We are testing. We are testing. We have a polymerase chain resistance laboratory, molecular lab, right there in FMCO. And right now the state has developed and equipped another laboratory right here in Akure. Yes. So, and the state is open about this, very honest. We are testing. And we are even surprised that some of our neighboring states like Ekiti and Osun, they are not reporting cases. But rats do not know any boundary.
Exactly.
But the truth is that at times, we also have 2 treatment centers. To interest you to know that we have 2 treatment centers, one in FMCO and also another one here in the reference hospital in Akure. We treat people from other states, but some of them don't report. Some of them are not honest about it. But Ondo State is forthright. We're honest. We have a very robust surveillance system across the 18 LGAs. We are moving around, picking cases, testing, and all. It will interest you to also know that all this is free. Treatment is free. The antiviral drug, which is a little bit expensive and not something you can get over the counter, government is providing it free. Treatment is free. Testing is free. All you need is just an index of suspicion that, this fever has been running for a few days. And you have excluded all other causes of fever. So why don't you just think of Lassa fever? You don't want to create panic in the populace, which I want to allay your fears. It's 100% treatable, and that's why we're talking about late presentation. Yes.
Before I ask a question, I also agree with you on late presentation, because I lost a younger sister to Lassa fever last December. Okay, that was January this year. You know, it's so painful. When I talk about Lassa fever, it gets me so emotional. The truth is, she didn't present early. When we thought, she kept saying it's fever, she was being treated by a nurse and all that. By the time it was detected that it's Lassa, when they now ran a full test, after I insisted, go to the hospital, you'll be treating this malaria for a while. It was at all that she actually. So whenever I take the news and the number of cases of people who died from Lassa fever, I tell myself, my sister is one of those people, And at the point when I start getting sick, we're all those who are around her were monitored and all that. When I start getting sick, I'm like, hey, Lassa, and then I go to the hospital. My doctor will say, no, now you don't have to be how many months into that and all that. So late presentation, it's one of those reasons. And please, people, when you've tried testing for you treated malaria once or twice, I think it's best to take Lassa test.
Okay, that brings us to can you please provide us with the current statistics on Lassa fever case in Ondo?
Oh, okay. Like I said, my boss will say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's true, Lassa fever is endemic in the state. We have a few cases, but most of the time when it comes to exact numbers and details, we are usually a little bit careful.
Okay.
Because at times it creates panic in the community.
Sure.
I think one like that happened earlier in the year that somebody just posted a picture and it went viral. Deaths in Ondo State. And to be candid, at times when you compare it with other causes of sickness or morbidity and maybe mortality, that if you want to compare that ratio, it's quite lower to maybe from road traffic accident, from malaria, from maybe hypertension, but the reason why we pay so much attention to this and government is interested in it is because it has epidemic tendency. It has potential to spread quickly from person to person. It usually peaks during the dry season. That's when we have
cases.
Yes, high number of cases. Starts gradually from November, December when the rain stops.
Yes.
The rats begin to come into the populace, begin to enter into the communities. They leave the bush.
Yes.
They are looking for food. When the dry season starts and vegetation begins to dry up, they move into the community. That's when you see the peak. You see it also in January. Suddenly by February it starts getting lower. By March it gets lower. And by the time rain starts in April, it's almost phased out. But nevertheless, once in a while we still pick a few cases, one there, two there. And why we are having this particular workshop that brought out this news is that we call it an after action review. Most of the time when it's after the outbreak, we review what has gone on during the outbreak, what went well, what did not go too well, and the lessons learned from the outbreak to prepare against another outbreak. So, and that's what we are doing presently. We don't want to wait till the dry season when we have another outbreak.
Yes.
Right now we want to sensitize our people as
that is more prevalent during dry season.
Yes, it is. It's seasonal. The epidemic is seasonal. Seasonal. So usually more in the dry season.
Okay.
And I've explained the reason.
Yes, you did.
The vectors, the rats. So they live
in the vegetable.
And yes,
so during the dry season,
looking for
come out to
eat.
So that's why waste disposal
is extremely important.
Very
extremely important. Environmental sanitation, personal sanitation of your house, extremely important. You don't allow dirty things to remain around, because that's what they are looking for. And somehow they have a way of communicating with each other. That there's food in that place. And they start coming out. Yes, environmental sanitation is extremely important, and it's been long that we've been singing it since primary school days. It's extremely important. Somebody said God created the environment first, so you have to take care of the environment. Then he said created the animals, so you have to focus on animals too, then before human health. So it's extremely important. So, and at the same time, we don't want our people to lose the index of suspicion, especially our health workers. Recently, just last month, we did what we call a clinician sensitization. We moved around all the private hospitals in 6 local governments where we had reports during this year. We moved to all doctors, nurses, health workers, community extension workers. We try to sensitize as many as possible, and we are still working on creating awareness. Please don't forget Lassa fever, because even in the dry rainy season, you still see one or two around. Yes, and that's why I want to speak a little about the symptoms, because I treat Lassa fever too. And from my experience, I know that the window of opportunity most of the time is about 2 weeks. If you detect such a person has Lassa fever within 2 weeks, you prevent the complications. The complications are usually setting later, by the 3rd or 4th week, is organ damage, particularly the kidney, acute kidney injury. So by the time you have treated malaria, the first, because that's the common thing around there, and they say medicine common things occur commonly. By the time you have treated malaria in the first week, you have another opportunity of maybe another week. Don't begin to move from hospital to hospital and begin to take drip and change antibiotics, and somebody is saying maybe it's typhoid, it's resistant malaria, and all that.
There's plus.
Yes, you can ask your physician or caregiver, are you thinking of Lassa fever? Go to the nearest basic care center. All these basic care centers, our DSMOs, these surveillance officers in LGs, we work with them, they move around.
Okay, so are you saying they can be tested?
Yes, they can take samples.
Okay.
Yes,
and then they go to.
Yes, and they transport it to the lab. If they need to do an advanced test on it, within 24 hours, 48 hours, the result comes out. And if you have very high index of suspicion to really suspect that this is Lassa fever, at times we commence treatment so as to avoid complications. We try to optimize the person, transfuse and rehydrate and all that, and commence antiviral drugs. So we need that index of suspicion. Don't just stay there and say, oh, it's fever, and fever. You keep changing drugs and changing diagnosis. We want that index of suspicion to be there among our people and also our clinicians. So that's one of the reasons why we are so glad that you invited us. I think if the media houses around can continue this way, then we'll create that awareness in our.
Very important.
Create that awareness. I'm sorry for your loss. I seriously sympathize with you.
Thank you. You said quite a lot this morning that people need to be aware. And first of all, don't treat it with kid gloves. Don't say it's malaria. There are so many words for it. It is either it's resisting medication. It is either medication in Nigeria. Most of them are fake, and we're just taking medications for no reason. The malaria is it's super, as in it's stronger than the medication we're taking, or that it's typhoid, or it's the fact that it has built resistance to those drugs. Please, life is worth living, and the fact that the doctor said it's preventable and it is treatable. The only danger in this is if you don't present early, and by the time complications sets in, it's always very difficult to bring. Yes, if the day she got to the hospital, the next day we told us that her kidney was already affected. In fact, that was when I felt, God, what is going on? But then with lessons learned, and then I just pray that as Nigerians we don't wait to learn the hard way, and that is usually what we do. Thank you so much, Doctor. Time is fast.
Symptoms and the prevention.
Yes.
Doctor, please, can you just tell us?
One word.
Yes, advice.
Oh yes, I've said it. They say prevention is better
Better than cure. Yes.
Prevention here is environmental sanitation. Please keep rats away from your house. How do you do that? You maintain a clean environment because they come there for the food. As much as possible, don't let them stay in the house. Don't let them stay in the environment. And by the time you have a symptom like fever, like body aches, like you're getting weak, please, as much as possible, let's have that index of suspicion for Lassa fever and make sure you get tested. Sometimes testing is free. Government has provided it free.
Treatment is free. So you have nothing to run away from.
Free where you are admitted. So there's really nothing to be scared.
Thank you so much, Doctor